Hello, friends. Welcome to class today. Today, our topic is culture preservation. Culture preservation. So, in today's lesson, we are going to learn the meaning of culture preservation and the various ways of preserving culture. Okay, so now let's get started. What is culture preservation? Culture preservation means keeping the important aspects of our culture for the future generation to learn from. So, anything you do to keep your culture for the future generation to meet is known as culture preservation. Okay, so that's what it means when we say culture preservation. Now, let's go over to the ways of preserving culture. The ways of preserving culture. Now, there are different ways of preserving culture, and we're going to look at each of them one after the other. The first one I have here is the museum. The museum. Now, a museum is a place where artwork and other valuable items from the past are kept. A museum is a place where we keep artwork and other valuable items from the past. Now, so when you go to the museum, you'd be able to see, okay, this is an example of artworks that you can find in the museum. Okay, so a museum helps us to see things that were made a very long time ago, and then when we see those things, we'll be able to understand the skills of our forefathers, the skills they had in making things. Okay, so that also helps us to see the cultural, some of the cultural practices from the past. Now, the second way of preserving culture I have here is fashion. Fashion. Fashion is the way people dress, and it also includes the way they make the materials for their clothes. Okay, different ethnic groups in Nigeria, some ethnic groups in Nigeria have a particular skill of making clothes, material for their clothes. Okay, and they have passed this skill from one generation to the other. It's a craft that has been passed from one generation to the other. For instance, this is the Ashoke material, and it is made by the Yoruba people. Okay, so they have always been the ones making this material in Nigeria, and they have passed the skill from one generation to the other. Okay, this is another material. It is called the Aquacha material, and it is made by the Anyoma people of Delta State. Okay, and this one here is the Anga black and white material, which is made by the Tiv people. Okay, it's made by the Tiv people. You can see a woman here also rocking the Anga black and white material. So fashion is also a way of preserving culture. Now let's look at another way of preserving culture, which is buildings. Buildings. Okay, buildings refer to the way people make their houses. It refers to the way different cultural groups make their houses. Okay, so for instance, when you look at this house here, you see that this is a house that is made in northern Nigeria. You can easily tell that this house is built in the northern part of Nigeria. This is the style. This is their style of building. Okay, now this house is an old house in Igbo land. Okay, and this house right here is a house in the riverine community. This is how most houses in the riverine community are built. And let's look at another interesting way of preserving culture, which is festivals. Festivals. Now, what is a festival? A festival is a celebration that is done regularly to celebrate a belief. It's a celebration of a belief, and it is done regularly. It could be done every year or every 2 years or every 3 years, but it is regular. Okay, and it's a celebration of a belief. Now let's look at some examples of festivals. The first one I have here is the Eyo Festival. This is the Eyo Festival, and it is celebrated in Lagos. Okay, this is the Christmas festival, and it is celebrated by Christians to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. This is the EYG festival. It is celebrated by the Igbos, and it is done to celebrate the new yam. It's also the English name for it is the New Yam Festival. Okay, this is the Igwe festival, and it is celebrated by the Benins. Okay, so festival is also a way of preserving culture. All right, and let's move over to another way of preserving culture, which is symbols. Symbols. A symbol is an object that has a special meaning to a group of people. Okay, so whenever they see that particular object, they are reminded of something about their culture or about their origin. Okay, for instance, this is the flag, our national flag, the Nigerian flag. Okay, which reminds us of our nationality. And this object here is a cultural symbol of the Benins. Okay, so in today's lesson we have learned about cultural preservation or culture preservation, what it means to preserve culture. Okay, and we have also learned about the ways of preserving culture. We mentioned quite a number of them. The first we mentioned was museum, and then we talked about fashion, building, festivals, and symbols. Okay, so that is how we come to the end of the class. Thank you very much for being a part of it. Bye bye.